there. Hey everybody, good evening and welcome to a new start. How are you all doing tonight? For those of you who are joining me live and who don't know where I am in Western Australia. Please let us know down there on the comment tabs where you are joining us from. Hey Delphin, how are you doing? Thank you for joining me tonight. And I know I've got a few people that are coming on because Andrew Causey, you will be joining me, I'm sure. Tonight is your topic. You asked for diabetes and I hope to see you here shortly. So I hope you all had a wonderful day and I hope you are all doing good. Hi Belinda, how are you? Good to see you. So I'm just welcoming everybody. Good evening, Stephen. Hi, how are you doing? And thank you so much for joining me here tonight in Western Australia. And can you all start to comment and share where you are logging in from? It's always lovely to see everybody joining in from around the world. And let me know how you're doing and how's the weather. And hey, Andrew, good to see you. Tonight is your topic and I'm so happy that you've made it because you asked me to talk about diabetes. And here we are. Did you have a good Eid and how did everything go? We missed you on a new start. We missed your interactions and we missed chatting to you. Hey, Stephen, how are you going? Everybody, can you let me know if you can hear me? Nice to see you too, Belinda. Thank you for joining in. Always good to see your beautiful face on here. And everybody, I'm welcoming you. I've missed you all. I have been so busy. But I am so happy to be back and I'm looking forward to talking to you all it should be every Wednesday night. But thank you, Stephen, you can hear me. I'm going to probably stick to Thursday night because I'm talking on so many platforms on different nights. But nevertheless, here I am tonight and I'm just excited to be back. And we are warming up because we're going to have another 5-day training coming up. So as I'm seeing people sharing, emailing, writing to me and asking me about certain topics, I'm preparing for the next 5-day presentations I'll be doing and the next training. So lovely to have you all. So tonight, Andrew asked me if I could please talk on diabetes. So tonight is the topic on diabetes, and it is a very serious disease, and we all know that disease turns to disease. You are welcome, Belinda. You are welcome, Andrew. I am very happy to have you both here. So everybody, pop your answers, pop your questions. What is disease? Can anybody tell me what is disease? I know I've been sharing a lot with you all, and I know most of you should know the answer, but I'm asking you all. Hey, Nicolette, how are you? Good to see you. Joining me from Canada. Lovely. I'm just getting my seat comfy here. Can anybody tell me what disease? What is disease? I have no takers. Sorry, guys. I'm just getting my back comfy here. Okay. Nobody's letting me know. Yes, morning from Canada. Nicolette, lovely to see you. Hey, Natty. How are you, sweetheart? Thank you for joining. Good to see you all. Okay, guys. I'm just going to roll. And you can pop your answers, your questions, and I'm just starting now. So what is disease? Disease is an effort of nature to free your system from conditions that result from a violation of the natural laws of health. Now, you're probably wondering what are the natural laws of health? But for those of you who did the first 5-day training with me, you may remember that those natural laws of life are nutrition, exercise, water, sunshine, temperance, air, rest, trust, And also I added attitude, if you can remember. That is why I've called this program A New Start, because a new start is actually giving you the acronym for the very, very important natural laws of health. I'll name them again: attitude, nutrition, exercise, water, sunshine, temperance, rest. And yes, Belinda, disease is starting off first, dis-ease in the body, and dis-ease then becomes disease. But that means the person who has got a disease has broken one or some of those natural laws of health. Your body is subject to wear and tear, but when disease strikes, the regular functions are temporarily, set aside, and your body then goes to work to regenerate itself, right? You've heard me say this before, but that's okay, because tonight's a new night and I really want to refresh your memory. So instead of using energy to digest your food or for muscular activity, your body then switches over to cleansing, repairing, and building. You know what? We are fearfully and wonderfully made, and marvelous are thy works. Now, that's a saying that comes from the Bible. For those of you who do read the Bible, it's found in Psalm 139:14. We are fearfully and wonderfully made. So what happens to a person when we get sick? Good evening, Rob. How are you? Thank you for joining us. I know, Rob, you joining us from the Philippines. Natalie's from the Philippines. And I've got my wonderful friends from all over the world starting to join in. Good to see you all. Thank you for joining in. So when your body becomes sick, your organs have become weary and overloaded, and that means they are full of toxins. And if you ask me about dis-ease, where does that begin? I will always tell you it begins with toxicity in your system, and toxicity in the system leads to inflammation. Now, what does toxicity mean? Toxicity means any additives that you are adding in that may be affecting your body. If you can remember the first 5-day program we did, I talked about caffeine being one of the main culprits. We look at drugs, we look at alcohol, we look at the makeup that you wear. If you can remember, I talked about all of these things, the shampoo you're putting on your hair, and there is so much more that adds toxins into your body. I'm very famous for talking about not eating animal proteins. That adds toxins into your body. Now, I don't judge people who do eat meat, because if that's what you do, that's your life, and I'm not going to judge you and call you a bad person. My job is simply to teach you and to let you know what is giving you the toxins that is in your system and why you are getting ill. So when your body is loaded with toxins, we need to remove those toxins. We need to detox. We need to reset so that all our organs will start functioning properly again. So disease is meant to be a friend and not an enemy. Why do I say that? Because a disease is a warning. It's a warning sign. It's letting you know that something is wrong and you need to fix it. But this is where we always go, this is where we get into trouble, because when we say you need to fix what's wrong, I don't mean with any type of drugs. As you all know, I don't believe in drugs at all. However, there may be times where you are so seriously ill that you may need emergency drugs, right? And that's something that has to happen occasionally. If you have a bad car accident, when you are in a coma. Now, I can take people out of comas even without drugs. But you know what? The pharmaceutical companies don't like us functional medicine practitioners. Why? Because we use everything natural. That's literally cheap or even free, and they can't make money from it. Hence, they medicate. Now, I don't medicate, I educate. And that is why you are on this program, because you want to be educated. You want to learn all the natural ways how to, first of all, prevent disease, and then how to treat it if you happen to have it. So how do we find the underlying cause of the disease, Stephen is asking, or the dis-ease? Well, that's where I come in. It's my job to become your detective, and your private detective, Michele, looks at every system in your body, and I draw up a plan of everything that I ask you, you respond, and I make up a massive map. And with the map, I map out your body, and I go into every system and every detail. What you eat, what you drink, how long you sleep. Do you have amalgams in your mouth? Do you go to the toilet every day? How many times a day are you passing stools? How many times a day are you urinating? All of the above, and that's how I come to the conclusion of what the underlying cause is. And that is why I studied functional medicine, so I don't have to medicate anybody, I can educate you. And I've made a further decision to educate people online, and that's just what I'm doing, and I'm so glad you are here to learn. So let's keep going. Disease is a friend and not an enemy. But you know what we do? We entrust our bodies to physicians who have been taught to put chemicals, more poisons, more drugs, and more toxins into our system, rather than to just cleanse the system of impurities. The body gets well when we reset, detox, and cleanse the body. So, you know what happens is people medicate and they get more sick. Why does that happen? Because the body is taking in more toxins, more toxicity, much more overload, sick organs, sick body, sick mind, sick everything and everywhere. And unfortunately, you just don't heal. So I will tell you just what's happened when we have a sick body because of medication. So backtrack. The body has, as it were, shut down or reduced all extra functions so healing can take place. That is why we have disease. That's why I call it your friend, not your enemy, because what is happening here, I'll repeat myself, you have a disease that comes about, right? That means your body is shutting down or it is reducing all the extra functions so that healing can take place. You start to feel weak, you can't handle food, you feel perhaps nauseous, you want to sleep all the time, you don't want the light is too bright, you have all sorts of things going on. So you lay in your bed, you rest your mind and your body, and the healing starts to take place. But it needs help in order to succeed. So instead of putting poisonous drugs, as most doctors will introduce in the body, if you do just what I said, you're going to start healing. So immediately your body is aroused when a poisonous drug is introduced. And the body starts to say, okay, something's coming in. I need to stop the natural healing process. Why? Because now it has to focus on the poisons coming in, and it has to start to fight those poisons. So Andrew is asking, where do toxins come from? You probably didn't hear me in the beginning. Toxins come from a lot of the food you're eating. Are you eating fast foods? Are you eating burgers and chips? Chips, hot French fries, whatever you want to call them, they are so carcinogenic. It's almost like smoking 2, 3, 4 cigarettes when you have one little packet of chips or French fries. When you're washing your hair with shampoos that are loaded with toxins, the toxins enter into your kidneys through your running down your back into your kidneys. When you're having a hot tub full of bubble bath that is not natural, you are sitting in the toxins. When you eat ice cream and dairy and meat and sugar, all of these foods are creating toxins. When you drink caffeine, coffee, you are creating and receiving toxins. If you live in a place that is highly toxic, maybe in where there's lots of factories and lots of smoke, if you smoke, if you drink alcohol, if you take drugs, drugs is one of the biggest issues that we are facing with as far as toxicity is concerned, because most people take aspirins, Dispirins, and Panadols and Panadines when they have pain. Now, if you learn the natural way, which is what I do, we do not ever touch medication. We get a headache, we simply do hot and cold tubs, and it helps. Within 20 minutes, your headache's gone. Now, wouldn't you rather do that and know you have less toxicity coming into your system? So did you get that, Andrew? Do you understand where the toxins come from? From a lot of different areas. If you have amalgams, black fillings, mercury fillings in your mouth, that's letting toxins into your system all day, every day. If you're drinking sodas, there's so much that you're doing yourself that's giving you the toxicity. If you eat pork meat, you are allowing worms to enter your system, creating more toxicity, from the worms, more acid, and etc., etc., etc. So true healing. So I'll just go back to where I was. What I was talking about was your body no longer continues the healing process, because as drugs are added in, it stops and it goes now to fight the poisons that are coming in from the medications. So everything is now changed. The sickness may apparently end, you think it's ended, or you may even get sicker some other way. So if you have a headache and you take a pill, the headache goes, but then next week you have stomach cramps. That is the toxicity from the headache pills that you just took. The next thing that happens is the doctor says you may need some surgery. You see, it always gets worse and worse and worse. But true healing actually did not take place from the medication. Additional poisons are now in your body, and we really should get them out, because your system is weakening over the years, and eventually your whole system just breaks down. These drugs can be very, very tenacious and are frequently lodged in the body to bring you grief at a later stage. So you may be fine, you may be fit, 20, 30 years old, but when you hit your mid-40s or your early 50s, that's when you are going to start feeling the consequences of taking drug medication. You know, our bodies are made to detoxify naturally every day. However, for some people, the detoxification process is slower due to a larger and a wider exposure of toxins in your system. And this causes the system to overload even faster than it can eliminate. Therefore, the detox mechanisms become sluggish, and you know what then results? We have a chemical imbalance that throws our immune system completely off balance. So people who suffer from toxic overload may get warning signals from their bodies. And you must take note, when your body, or rather when the detox organs are not functioning well, they will emit these signals, which come as a long list of certain chronic diseases, and that includes diabetes. So our topic tonight is diabetes. So the whole idea is we want to relax, and we want to activate our parasympathetic nervous system, which increases vitality and facilitates our body's healing process. And that is how we continue to live healthfully, when we're living in a very relaxed way. So our parasympathetic nervous system is continually activated. Okay. So we mustn't wait for our statistical turn with diabetes or any other disease for that matter. We must do everything possible in order to prevent diabetes from taking up permanent residence in our bodies. Have I lost you, or are you all with me? Okay, thank you, Andrew. Very useful. Okay, Glad you are with me still. Yona, hi, how are you doing? Okay, so let's keep going. The statistics on liver disease, cancer, and other life-threatening conditions are extremely overwhelming. And while natural health is attainable for everybody, starting the journey to a happier and a healthier lifestyle can be very intimidating and overwhelming. And I know for most of you who have been on here and have actually listened to the first 5-day program, you can understand what I'm talking about, because I gave you so much information. In fact, it was an overload, and that was overwhelming in itself. But many of you were so gracious. You started taking on board everything I taught you, and that is fantastic. But now don't worry, because as I say, I'm here to teach you. Now, what is diabetes? Here comes the big topic. I've told you what disease is. Now, what is diabetes? Diabetes is a metabolic disorder of the pancreas, and I'm sure some of you already know this, to where glucose intolerance results from varying degrees of insulin insufficiency, and it's an elevated blood sugar. So excess glucose in the blood is referred to as hypoglycemia. And I'm sure a lot of you already know this information, but nevertheless, you are here listening to this information from me tonight. Glucose is usually found in the urine. When the level rises over 180 milligrams in the blood, then we really have to look at what's going on. A few facts about diabetes. In America, a new diabetic is discovered every 50 seconds. That is phenomenal. And the reason being, if you look at what the Americans eat, they are on very high sugar, high fat diets. Statistics predict that within 30 years, 30 to 40% of the world population will have type 2 diabetes. Wow, that is staggering. Did you get that? I hope you did, because those are staggering, staggering results. Good to see you still there, Belinda, Delphin, Andrew. Hi, Sissy and Michelle, thank you for joining. So these statistics are really staggering, my friends, and I really want you guys to understand, because diabetes is nothing to play with. Your diet is really what is the culprit, major culprit for your diabetes. 5.1% of the Australian population are diabetic. The fastest growing chronic illness in Australia, in fact, is diabetes. Hence, I'm talking to you all and hoping, my Australian friends, you are going to share with your mates. There are approximately 100,000 new diagnoses every single year in Australia. On average, one Australian is diagnosed with type 2 diabetes every 5 minutes. 80% of diabetics die from heart disease. Wow. Why heart disease? When you're telling me you have a problem with your insulin, your pancreas, glucose, why heart disease? Brothers and sisters, I mentioned to you already, my friends, that when you are taking medication, something else is happening in your body because you are adding toxins in. So don't be surprised with what I'm sharing with you. Studies show that those who get more than 9 hours of sleep a night triple their risk for diabetes, and those who get less than 6 double their risk. 7 to 8 hours of sleep is sufficient for most adults. Any more or any less, there's a risk for diabetes. Is that not incredible? I mean, I am blown away when I actually read, study, and see these statistics. CDC, which is the Center for Disease Control, they say the following regarding diabetes statistics. Diabetes is the 7th leading cause of death in the US and Australia. It affects 25.8 million people. That's 8.3% of the US population. Wow, that is staggering figures. Approximately 7 million have diabetes and don't even know it. 7 million people have diabetes and don't even know it. And you know, I can vouch for that, because when my husband and I traveled in the past, And we were doing all the blood sugar tests, the BP tests. When we run clinics, we sometimes have 150 people lined up to come into the clinics. And as I have a group of people, my husband's usually one of them, they take the blood pressure, they take the sugar, they do all the stats, they weigh them before they get to seeing me. And I'm actually stunned. People come in and their blood sugar levels are way past 8. Our blood sugar levels should never, ever pass 4, 5. And when you're reaching 7, 8, that is serious, even 12, some people. So the last time I did the 5-day program, I sent everybody to check their blood pressure and to check their pH levels, I believe, and your sugar. And when we do the next challenge, I'm going to ask you to do exactly the same thing. So let's continue on with what the CDC says about the statistics about diabetes. So you heard me say 7 million people, approximately 7 million people have diabetes and don't even know it. 26.9% of US residents aged 65 and older had diabetes in 2010. That is staggering. In 2011, over 1.9 million new cases were diagnosed, and over 231,000 death certificates listed diabetes as the cause of death. Now, that's about the same as the entire population of the Sioux Falls in South Dakota being wiped out every single year. That is just phenomenal. The estimated cost of diabetes was over $174 billion in the US in 2011. In just 1 year, over 65,000 lower limb amputations were performed on people with diabetes. It is estimated that half of the diabetics in this country don't even realize they have diabetes. So Andrew, you chose a phenomenal discussion tonight, and it's probably going over the top of the head of most people. But you know what? This is something that people need to hear about. And I'm glad you asked me to talk on it, because the statistics, as you can hear, are phenomenal, and people don't even know that they have it. So Stephen's saying amazing statistics. So may people with a high sugar from the SAD diet? Absolutely correct. Lots of people on the SAD diet, which is the standard American or standard Australian diet, the SAD, the SAD diet, is creating diabetes. You yourselves are giving your children diabetes. You're giving them sugar, chocolates, sweeties, lollipops, ice cream. You feeding them with loaded plates with more than 5 mixes on your plate. You're allowing them to eat in between meals, and you're giving them fast foods. You know, my friends, you are feeding your family diabetes. And I'm hoping you're going to understand by the time I get to the end of this lecture tonight how you can make the changes so you don't get diabetes if you haven't got it already. So we want to get to the root of the disease, don't we? So let's look at some of the risk factors for diabetes. Diabetes closely coexists with cardiovascular disease and chronic kidney disease. Now tonight, somebody asked me, or this afternoon, if I could talk on kidney disease. And I hope he is listening, because I did send him a request to come and join us tonight. And have a listen to this now. So diabetes closely coexists with cardiovascular disease and chronic kidney disease, with these 3 diseases accounting for around 1/4 of the entire disease burden in the whole of Australia. So let's look at what the normal ranges are. 66 to 99 should be your normal range of your sugars. Fasting below 5.5 mmol. And I will send you these. If anybody wants them, please email me. I'm going to give you my email address. In fact, Stephen, can you please Who is out there that has my email address? Stephen, Andrew, all of you have my email address. For those of you who want some of these this information sent to you, email me. So Andrew, what are you saying? Amazing. Yes, exactly. It is an amazing topic. Oh no. Oh, your neighbor's legs have already been amputated. Oh, I'm so sorry that I didn't meet you a long time ago and talk to you about how you can help your friends and your neighbors, my friends, because you see what I'm saying? We need to learn so we can educate and help other people so they don't have to get to the point of amputating their legs, etc. So we want to keep our blood sugar in the normal ranges of between 66 and 99. You know, 100 to 120, some doctors say is borderline. Pre-diabetic, 5.5 to 6.9, which is 100 to 125 milligrams. 2 hours post, this is going to be blah, blah to you. So all I'm going to say to you is keep your ranges between 66 to 99, which is 5.5 to 6.9. We don't want our sugar levels going any higher. Otherwise, we are already in a pre-diabetic state. So your doctor, when he tests you for diabetes, he does a random blood sugar test, he does a fasting blood sugar test, or an oral glucose tolerance test. And that's the normal. We need to actually look at what types of diabetes there are out there. And I'm sure all of you have heard of type 1 diabetes, which is known as juvenile diabetes. That accounts for 10% of all diabetes and is increasing. This type usually begins in childhood and is known as insulin-dependent diabetics. That's why they call it juvenile diabetes. And this type occurs when the pancreas no longer secretes insulin. So Diabetes Australia tells us that type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune condition in which the immune system is activated to destroy the cells in the pancreas, which actually produce the insulin. We do not know what causes this autoimmune reaction, but type 1 diabetes is not linked to modifiable lifestyle factors. And they say that there is absolutely no cure and it cannot be prevented. Now, this information I actually got from Diabetes Australia. So, do you believe yourself that there is no cure for diabetes? So Andrew, you're asking how is obesity to do with this? Okay, Andrew, obesity in itself is a disease. The body is overweight and there's an issue with obesity. But yes, obesity you can have, or people who are obese can end up with diabetes, but it's not so much because they're obese, it's because of what they are putting into their system, if that makes any sense. But I'd like to hear from anybody. Stephen, Andrew, Delphin, please comment. Anybody, do you believe that what they say that, Diabetic Australia say, diabetes cannot be cured, or type 1, pardon me, cannot be cured. Do any of you say this is true? Let's see. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think it's true that type 1 diabetes cannot be cured? Let's see what you all say. And whilst you're putting your answers down, I'm going to continue on. Several studies have shown that infants fed with cow's milk, which is in the baby formula, show a greater tendency to type 1 diabetes. And that means they are insulin dependent. Remember, we called it juvenile diabetes. Dr. Virgil, who did a major study on diabetes, he shared that 84% of the dairy herds had leukemia. Wow. And 50% had AIDS. I'm sure you are going to be very shocked, a lot of you. So, Belinda, you say no. It cannot be cured. Delphin, you say diabetes can be reversed. Now, remember, it's not simply diabetes. I'm talking about type 1 diabetes. So Delphin says can be reversed. Belinda says no. Stephen says not sure. I thought there was one kind that couldn't be cured. Okay, I'm going to make you wait till the end, and I'm coming to answer that. Okay, back to what I was talking about. Did you all hear that percentage? What Dr. Virgil reported? 84% of the dairy herds have leukemia and 50% have AIDS. Now, I know that all milk that was tested off the shelf, there was a massive test done. They found that the milk off the supermarket shelf had pus and blood in it. And leukemia is a blood cancer. So I believe those statistics. I don't know about you. And as soon as I heard that, my friends, that was it. I stopped taking any dairy milk, and that was a long time ago. And you all know I've been vegan for some years now. But now I'm going to share some important facts with you. Dairy products should be eliminated at all costs. If you look at children who are suffering with asthma, who are struggling with all sorts of skin disorders, eczema, and all kinds of different diseases in their skins, or even in the bronchs, in the lungs. These are people generally who are taking in dairy, and a fair bit of dairy. We were all brought up on dairy as babies, and we've all been given milk when we were little children to drink because we were told it had loads of calcium. Now, I'm going to share some facts with you that are going to shock you. I'm sure some of you have heard about it before. I would like for all of you to Google www, you don't have to Google, just put it in, www.notmilk. Stephen, can you please put this in the comment tab, please? www.notmilk.com. Actually, I'll try and do it for you now. www.notmilk.com. Okay, guys, I've put a comment there, www.notmilk.com. Can you see that? I'd like for every one of you, when I'm finished talking tonight, to please go there, all right? It will show you step by step how using dairy products causes diabetes, and you will also see all the milk-related diseases. As I mentioned, diabetes closely coexists with cardiovascular disease and chronic kidney disease, with these three diseases accounting for around a quarter of the entire disease burden in Australia. Accordingly, diabetes shares a number of common risk factors with these other chronic diseases, including insufficient physical activity, poor diet, and failing to maintain a healthy abdominal weight. Now, if you remember in the beginning, I told you what is the cause for disease. Now, did you hear what I just said? Insufficient physical activity. Do you recall what's in the acronym I gave you? Attitude, nutrition, exercise, water, sunshine, temperance, air, rest. Insufficient physical activity, exercise, poor diet, nutrition, and failing to maintain a healthy abdominal weight, which comes down to diet and exercise. So here's what causes type 1 diabetes for the most part. And we are going to have a look at some of these. You're going to look at that yourself, I hope. So Stephen, what did you say? Diabolical, devastating diabetes leading to dialysis. That is so right. And it's so sad because one of our friends who wouldn't make the changes in the diet and exercise to overcome it ended up on dialysis. That is so true. Anyway, I just want to continue on now with what causes type 1 diabetes. Sorry, I'm just going to check the time. Oh boy, 38 minutes. I usually talk for 45 minutes, as you know, so I'm going to scram through here. Every milk producing species that God created does something so very special. What do they do? Every single milk producing species. When a baby is born, technically speaking, a baby that's newborn has no immune system. Why not? Because the immune system comes from the mother when she breastfeeds. And that is the phenomenal thing that God created in every milk producing species. It feeds, it breastfeeds, whether it's a dog, whether it's a cat, whether it's a goat, a cow, we all feed our babies from the breast. And here is what happens, okay, when you feed your baby with breast milk, because the baby, technically speaking, has no immune system, okay? So when that little baby takes the milk from its mother, the milk goes down into the intestines and it starts to become absorbed. And then there is something so special that happens. It is reabsorbed into the intestines. And that something special is called antibodies. Antibodies. So that's already telling me that that's where the immune system is coming from. Okay? Do you get that, everybody? Is that clear? If it's not clear, let me know, and I certainly will be happy to repeat that. When they are reabsorbed, guess what they do? They become the defense mechanism in that baby's body. And that is where the immune system comes from, the mother's milk. And that's why we're told to breastfeed. Breastfeed your babies because it is so, so healthy for you. And sorry, everybody, I may have an urgent call. I'm just going to check. I'm just on a live stream. Is it urgent? Okay, thank you. Sorry. So sorry about that. I was just making sure it's not urgent because my daughter hasn't been too well, but it's not urgent, so I'll talk to her after. When they are reabsorbed, that's where the defense mechanism comes in. So every milk producing species that was created by God, their milk does the same thing for their baby. So when the cow is breastfeeding the little baby calf, that calf starts to drink his mother's milk, and the antibodies are reabsorbed into the baby calf's intestines, and those antibodies in the calf look around, anything foreign in the body. No, nothing foreign, because the cow's milk is coming from the mother cow. There's nothing foreign. Everything is fine. Did you hear what I just said? Nothing foreign is coming in because it's drinking milk from its mother. I hope you've just caught something profound right there. What is happening when a baby is drinking cow milk? Because it's not being fed breast milk, it's being fed cow milk. What is happening? Anything foreign to a baby cow that's drinking another animal's milk, anything foreign to that baby is going to be shot down by the immune system. So human beings are the smartest created species on the face of this earth, are they? One would have thought so. But why is it that cows will not drink milk from another animal? Sheep, goats, none of them will drink milk from another animal except humans. Why do we feed our babies with cow milk? I think God created the animals. In fact, supposedly in a hierarchy, we were created higher, smarter, more intelligent. But these other species seem a lot more intelligent than us because they do not share milk. So I'm going to tell you exactly what happens now to a baby when it drinks the milk from another species. The baby drinks the cow's milk. The cow's milk gets down into the intestines. It is absorbed in the baby's intestines. The antibodies of the cow start looking around for anything foreign to a cow. what do you think it finds? You got it. It finds antibodies that are not belonging to a cow, and it starts to attack and to destroy beta cells. That's what it does. They attack and destroy, starting with beta cells. And that is why the question is asked in every type 1 diabetes, who killed the beta cells? Are you getting it? You now know it's the cow's antibodies that actually have killed the beta cells in that baby, creating type 1 diabetes. When I tell people to get off the dairy products, it's not because I am trying to deprive them of something they love. Have you all understood what I've just talked about? Please give me likes, hearts, sad, angry faces. Let me know you're listening. Let me know you've heard, because I'm not seeing any reactions. And I was thinking I was going to hear, no way, wow, but I'm seeing no reactions. Because when I first studied this, I was absolutely shocked. I was devastated. And then you may say to me, how come all of us don't have type 1 diabetes or type 2? Well, if you were born and your mom breastfed you up until a certain age, your immune system was strengthened through your mother, and you managed to bypass that stage so that you did not get the type 1 diabetes. But everybody's system is different. Some systems are stronger and will last a little bit longer, and they may never get diabetes, but they will have some other very severe issues. And I know most people that I know that were not breastfed but had cow's milk, I can tell you they have all sorts of illnesses and diseases. So you've just learned all about type 1 diabetes, but let's dig a little bit deeper. I'm going to give you some life-saving information so that I'm hoping you are going to understand what is good for you. Just to clean up with the milk completely. If you're getting antibodies from a cow, antibodies are white blood cells. White blood cells are a defense mechanism. If you get a bad infection or you get a cut and it gets infected, the white blood cells clean it up. When we see white blood cells on the outside, what do we call that when it's infected? We call it pus. And people just think pus, that's pus. That's actually white blood cells. When you're drinking milk, you're drinking pus. And that's why it is mucus building. And that is why people who drink milk have the bronchi issues, their breathing is bad, they have asthma, they have all sorts of issues related to the mucus areas. And that is why mucus leads to very, very severe diseases. And we really need to watch and get off the dairy. It's very, very unhealthy. Here's more for you to think about. There are grades of pus. You can have more or you can have less. Grade A can have up to 1 million white blood cells per milliliter or cubic centimeter. And then you have grade B and C, which they use to make the cheese and the ice cream. Now that is milk I'm talking about. A grade milk, which has 1 million white blood cells per milliliter or cubic centimeter. And then the grade B and the grade C milks are used to make cheese and ice cream. Oh, I don't know why anybody would drink milk, eat cheese, eat ice cream, eat chocolate. If this is what's in it for you, why would you have it? So tell me, where does ice cream come from? Ice cream is just frozen pus and sugar because it's frozen milk with sugar. So that's all it is. So I want you to do a test for me. For those of you who are not happy getting off the dairy, I'm going to ask you to do a test. I want you, I'm sorry everybody, it's 48 minutes, I'm late, but I've 3 minutes over already. Bear with me, I won't be too much longer. I want you, for those of you who are still taking in dairy, I want you to have a glass of milk, and I want you to eat a chocolate, And I want you to tell me, and I want you to do that an hour before bed, and I want you to tell me, email me, send me a message, what did you feel through the night? And oh no, my video is ending. Can you still hear or see everybody? I know Stephen says people love the taste of dairy foods and they live to eat it. Steve, can you tell me if I'm still on, please?
Breaking down.
Breaking down?
Come back.
Okay, hopefully I'm still on. Can you just make sure the internet is on for me, please?
Sure.
Okay, thank you. So people, my friends, please don't think you want to stay on dairy because you love it. And I'd like for you to do that test for me. And if there's anybody out there who is a singer, oh, sorry, Steve, my battery's flat on my computer. For anybody who is a singer, I want you to have a glass of milk or a chocolate, and I want you to try and sing and tell me what happened to you, okay? These are all tests I'd like for you to do. That will, thank you everybody, you can still hear me. I'd like you to do the test if you sing. I know Delphin, your daughter sings. I want you to ask her if you're still taking dairy, to eat a chocolate or to drink a glass of milk, wait 10-15 minutes and try to sing and tell me what happens. Because I used to be a professional singer, and what happened one night, I ate a chocolate and I had to go on stage and I couldn't understand why my throat was building with mucus and I couldn't hit my notes, and it was quite embarrassing, but I covered it up quite nicely. However, it was a very disconcerting experience. So substitutes for milk: rice milk, almond milk, cashew milk, walnut milk, sesame seed milk, etc., etc. Did you know your body is capable of making its own bacteria? Yes, it is. So all of you that are watching, send me an email if you want to get any more information on diabetes. Oh, my computer is not charging. Yeah, I have another charger there. So sorry everyone, I'm having a few issues here. My screen is black. If you can see me, that's great. Looks like it's breaking down, but anyway, we've come to the end of our video. For those of you who want more information, I have still a little bit more I needed to share. Please send me your emails and I will certainly, it's charging now, thank you. And I will share with you. Sorry everybody, it's just been a few technical issues on my side. I hope you can still see me. So thank you very much for listening in. It was a big topic, and I hope, thank you Belinda, I hope you got the gist of what I was trying to tell you at the end, because I had so many issues. But there are ways you can actually make your own bacteria. And for those of you who want some information, please message me and I will send you some ways that will actually help you. All right? I didn't even get to talking about diabetes 2, and I think I'm going to have to do a second night on diabetes. I don't want to go too long because nobody watches a video that's any longer than 45 minutes. So thank you, Belinda. Thank you, Penel, Delphin, Andrew, Stephen, Shirley, Zana, everybody who's joined in and watched tonight. I can't go any further back. I look forward to seeing you all, and I'm going to do diabetes again, but I'll go into type 2 next. Thank you once again. Have a very good night. Have a very good day wherever you are. God bless you all, and I will see you very, very soon. Thank you for joining me.